I know it's a bass solo, but he's pretty good.
That's Matthew Beach on the bass.
Hello again, everybody. This is Rusty, aka William Robinson, aka Dr. Robinson, aka the Blues Doctor. And we are on my podcast, which is very special today because we're on the road. That's right. The Blues Doctor crew went on the road for the next 10 days or so, and we're sending in some random reports from the road, and this will be the first of those. So, sit back, like and subscribe, share, do all of those things, and we'll get to our very first road special from the Blues Doctor. Well, we've been on the road now for 3 days as of this recording, which is Sunday, August the 3rd, 2025. And we've already seen some interesting places. The place we went to yesterday, in fact, was Eureka Springs, Arkansas, which is a very cool little town. It actually started out as a resort community in the late 19th century for people who wanted to take the waters, so to speak. And it continued as that. But then after World War II, it kind of fell into decline, I guess, because taking the waters wasn't it, or lost its appeal, I guess. But then it finally turned around in 1973 when the hippies came to town. They took the town, which already had many of its architecturally significant buildings still intact, and turned it into an arts and tourist community, which it is to this day. Plus, there are multiple buildings that are supposedly haunted in Eureka Springs, including a couple of hotels that are reported to be the most haunted in the United States. And those include the Crescent Hotel and the Basin Park Hotel. And the Blues Doctor crew has been to both several times. This trip, we decided to set up at the Basin Park Hotel, which is right in the center of town, right in the center of all the activity. There's lots of fun galleries and music venues and various other things right around the hotel, including more than a few psychics or shamans or readers, whatever you want to call them. Plus, it's kind of interesting. I posted some pictures of the hotel and of the downtown in Eureka Springs yesterday to Facebook, and my friend and subscriber Kalila Smith commented that it kind of looked like the French Quarter in New Orleans. And it did, actually. Eureka Springs is a little different in that it's smaller than the French Quarter and obviously much smaller than New Orleans. And it's built into the side of a mountain or mountains. So there are multiple levels, even on the same block. So there's lots of stairways that you have to go up and down. So there's lots of changes in levels. And as I said, many haunted buildings, and the Basin Park is one of those. Specifically, the third floor seems to be the center of the most activity, including rooms 301, 305, and 307, and there are several ghosts or several reports of supposed entities on those floors. We actually stayed in room 301, which was very nice. Beautiful room, beautiful bathroom, everything was nice. But we did not have any paranormal experiences that I think we were aware of, other than, I guess, if you count the ghost tours that started outside the door of our room every night. Well, I say that last night at about every hour and a half for all evening long. So it was fun, and I can highly recommend, therefore, both the Basin Park Hotel and Eureka Springs, Arkansas. If you think you know everything there is to know about Arkansas, but you haven't been to Eureka Springs, then you don't. This is really a much cooler place than many of the places in Arkansas, so I can highly recommend it. Then today was a little different. We actually drove to the small town of Villisco in southwest Iowa among endless cornfields so that we could visit the Villisco Axe Murder House here. Now, I won't go into the whole story, but I would encourage you to do so if you haven't already. Basically, the Villisco Axe Murder House is famous for the evening of June 10th, 1912, when there were 8 people, including 6 children, murdered in the house. The killer got away and was never caught to this day, so we don't really know all the details of what happened. The house kind of fell into disrepair. It was abandoned for a while until 1994 when a retired couple bought it and they began having paranormal experiences. The word kind of spread, and a number of paranormal investigators started coming to town, and they have produced some very provocative evidence of strange events in the house. The Blues Doctor and his team explored the house and the grounds today, but all we can really say is that the attic had a very creepy feeling as I entered it. And that feeling was confirmed by virtually everybody who was there today, and I think many people who have been there in the past. All of the rooms have been investigated and have been found at times to have paranormal activity associated with them. The house is also kind of a museum of 20th early 20th century life in the American Midwest, which I think at least is kind of fascinating on its own. So I can highly recommend the Villisco Axe Murder House to both mediums and ghost investigators, and even just to regular blues doctors like me. And that's about all for now with the Blues Doctor from the Road. But stay tuned. We're going to go to some more cool places from here. Tomorrow, we actually go to the historic St. James Hotel in Red Wing, Minnesota, and more places after that. And we'll see you later. Yeah, I know it's a bass solo, but